Modern history and geology rest on the principle of uniformitarianism. We assume the Earth's surface and the progression of human civilization change at a slow, predictable, and glacial pace. Any empirical data contradicting this unbroken narrative is routinely marginalized. The early 20th century researcher Charles Fort called this damned data, physical evidence that resides at the fringes of science because it breaks the accepted rules. The Caspian Sea basin provides a striking example. Throughout recorded history, its water levels have experienced sharp, violent, and unpredictable fluctuations that defy gradualist explanations. Off the coast of Azerbaijan, at the Bandavan Eye site, an underwater expedition discovered entirely intact 14th century residential quarters. Divers found undisturbed hearths, clay bread-baking ovens, and copper coins resting just beneath the waves, evidence of a sudden inundation rather than slow erosion. Similar anomalies appear in the Caucasus Mountains. Here, stone fortresses like Vardzia feature granite and limestone walls that have been bubbled and glassified. The rock itself has been vitrified by extreme heat exposure. Mainstream archaeology attributes vitrification to ancient siege warfare, suggesting invading armies burned timber against the walls. However, thermodynamic analysis shows that open-air wood fires cannot reach the thousands of degrees required to melt solid basalt or granite. Since wood fires cannot melt stone and gradual erosion doesn't leave baking ovens intact under the sea, we must investigate these as the physical scars of a sudden planetary-scale reset. In 1950, Immanuel Velikovsky proposed a radical mechanical explanation for these scars. He argued that the Earth recently experienced a violent near collision with a celestial body, causing the planet's axis to shift abruptly. An abrupt axial shift would trigger a planetary-scale sea wave. Massive bodies of water would violently slosh out of their basins, drowning urban centers like those in the Caspian in a matter of hours. The resulting atmospheric friction and electromagnetic disruption would trigger massive plasma discharges. These heat bursts acted as a cosmic crucible, flash-melting high-elevation stone fortresses. These submerged ruins and fused stones, featuring precision masonry and tolerances that challenge modern machining, represent the debris field of a unified civilization annihilated by this cosmic inferno. When oceans swallow cities and plasma fires melt mountains, the biological response of the survivors is immediate. A localized apocalypse in the Caucasus would force a rapid mass migration away from the epicenter. The explorer Thor Heyerdahl studied this human response through the lens of euhemerism, the theory that mythological gods were historical human leaders, deified by later generations. Heyerdahl concluded that the Norse god Odin was a historical refugee warlord. According to the sagas, Odin led his people, the Aesir, out of the burning epicenters of the Caucasus to settle in Scandinavia. Identical ancient toponyms track this exodus. Regions in the Caucasus were named Iberia and Albania, exact matches for the Iberian Peninsula and the Balkans. Displaced populations carried the names of their destroyed homelands into their new settlements. What we categorize as ancient mythology is the highly traumatized collective memory of this apocalyptic historical displacement. If this planetary destruction and mass migration happened so recently, we have to ask how the event was erased from our collective memory. Historian Harry Bear Ewick identified a clue in the Gregorian calendar reform of 1582. The calendar required a 10-day adjustment to fix its astronomical drift, but based on its inception in 45 BC, it should have shifted 13 days. 3 centuries of time were missing. Illig proposed that elite power structures surviving the reset fabricated those missing centuries. They needed to consolidate control over a decimated population living among the ruins of the classical world. This gap was filled by the intentional insertion of roughly 300 years of fabricated history, the Dark Ages, which served to artificially stretch the timeline. By pushing the destruction of the advanced classical world centuries into the past, the ruling class created a temporal buffer. This psychological operation allowed them to heal and pacify the survivors under a new mythologized history. The mathematician Anatoly Fomenko suggests this temporal forgery is even more extensive. His statistical analysis of historical records indicates the timeline has been padded by more than just a few centuries. Fomenko discovered dynastic parallelism, statistically impossible matches in the reign lengths of ancient and medieval empires. As this chart shows, the sequences for the ancient Roman Empire and the medieval Holy Roman Empire align perfectly. They are phantom copies of the same historical events. Renaissance chronologists took the fragmented records of the destroyed global civilization and scattered backward, laying them out sequentially to pad the historical timeline. Removing these phantom gaps reveals that classical antiquity, the Viking expansions, and the Middle Ages were contemporaneous. These cultures operated in different regions of the same globally connected world. We are taught to see the height of the Roman Empire as a distinct ancient epoch, yet archaeologists find advanced Roman maritime technology and Viking artifacts in the same chronological strata. These empires existed together until the Cataclysm erased them both. Our official history is a curated mathematical construct designed to permanently hide the reality of a recent apocalyptic past behind a mask of invented antiquity.